Right boys, if you've ever seen the Bedrock Marketplace, you'll know that it's a bad place to get add-ons. Like a really bad place to get add-ons. It's full of unoriginal ideas, scams, and things that can cost the amount of money of half of Minecraft itself. But is it really that hard to make a good mod in Bedrock? Well, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the addon maker, and let's find out. Can't be that hard. Okay, before we start creating the add-on, we need to know the basics of what an add-on actually is. An add-on is a modification of Bedrock that adds stuff that wasn't originally in the game into your world, or changes something in the game to make it different. An add-on is made of two parts, a resource pack and a behaviour pack. Resource packs control what you see in your world. It explains to the game what everything should physically be. How it sounds, how it looks and how it's animated are all from the resource pack. Behaviour packs on the other hand control the actions of your add-ons. How a mob moves, if it's hostile like a zombie or should be friendly like an ally, if a block should be unbreakable like Bedrock or deal damage when you walk in it like a magma block, anything like that. For example, let's say you want to add an upside down cow that spawns in the caves and attacks you when close. Well, you tell the resource pack that it looks like a cow but it's upside down, while you tell the behaviour pack that it should spawn in the caves and attack the player if it gets too close to them. Right, now that you're caught up, it's time for me to actually start creating the add-on. Only problem is, I don't know where to look. And the reason for that is because I decided to start by adding custom structures to the game, which I'm not going to talk about much because I didn't get much progress, but it was a bad idea. Since when you look up how to make custom structures generate in Minecraft Bedrock or anything like that, you don't get good results. Everyone has a different method to making them, from different apps that make the structures for you, unclear instructions, and loads of videos trying to get cheap methods in for people wanting to do minimal work, so I was stuck with ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is great and all, however it pulls information from all these websites and all these videos, so every time something would go wrong, ChatGPT would think a different website's fix works on the wrong problem, so I got no progress done. Like, it told me to navigate to a folder in my computer called com.mojang, so I said, yeah, okay, I can do that. And then there was 5 of them. I was actually going to give up, but I randomly searched up how to make Minecraft Bedrock add-ons instead of looking for structures specifically, and found the Bedrock wiki, and this saved me. It looked like I had everything I needed to make a fully functional add-on. Now, ChatGPT said it's outdated, but I don't trust anything that thing says anymore, so we're going with this. And with that, we can actually start making the add-on. So, to start off, I'm going to try add an item to the game, and based off the wiki's instructions, I was going to add an item called an ectoplasm, which will go with some of the stuff I was adding later. It showed me where the right com.mojang was, and this is where all the behind the scenes of add-ons will go. You might think we work in the behaviour packs and the resource packs, but I'm actually going to be putting all of my files in the development versions of both of these packs, and the reason for this is because these packs are for testing unfinished add-ons. Since Minecraft expects fully finished add-ons with nothing to change in behaviour packs and resource packs, it only rechecks the contents of the add-on when I reset Minecraft, which is very inefficient. Development add-ons allow me to force Minecraft to recheck my add-ons with the /reload command. Anyways, I started with naming my add-on Oval's add-on so I can say that instead of behaviour packs and resource packs, and added a manifest with which uses these things called UUIDs to tell Minecraft that this is my pack. Each one is different, but luckily there's a website that automatically generates unique ones, so I don't have to worry about that. I got its texture off the wiki and added its behaviour and name in JSON files, which is a whole thing you have to learn, but the wiki gave me a link to the website called JSONlint that checks if it's right, so using my limited knowledge on it, the wiki, ChatGPT and JSONlint, I was able to get my ectoplasm into the game. And it does absolutely nothing, but you know what, for the 3 hours I put into it, I'm pretty happy that it's actually in the game. But we do need something to go with it, because what's an item without a way to get it? Ooh. While still following the wiki, I'm going to attempt to make our ghost a basic hostile mob. This is going to be harder, but if I can do it, it'll give us a way to get ectoplasm and let us give it a purpose later. To start, I wanted to be able to attack the player and to be able to summon it with spawn eggs. We could add stuff like natural spawning and loot drops later, but I want to get it in the game first. I started with a model that the wiki gave me and gave him 20 HP and deal 1.5 hearts with no armor, so he's a pretty weak lad. Minecraft has some basic movement presets that'll let our ghost move and can be used to make mobs walk around, so I used them since I found nothing wrong with them. Added a JSON that tells the game what our ghost looks like, and we should have our enemy. Except he's invisible and just stands there, so we have to fix some things. Since I've been copying and pasting a lot of code from the wiki, a lot of the names in my code were wiki /ghost, which is the identifier when using /summoning mobs in the game. The first word being the author and the second word being the mob. Fixing this made my ghost appear, but he still didn't attack me, which I tried to fix, but after spending hours of trying to do something about it, I just decided to move on. Now that our ghost is in the game, we can work on trying to make it spawn naturally and dropping ectoplasm, which was actually pretty easy after using code from the wiki, since it was just a few copy and paste with a couple of tweaks to make it work, and we should be ready with the ghost, so I hopped into my world and looked around for one. I made it so they can only spawn in night and in desert, so that's where I'll find one, and to my surprise, it actually worked. Took much less time than I thought it would, so I'm happy with that. He drops 1 to 3 ectoplasm on death and just walks around when he spawns. Or so I thought. See, when I was testing it out in survival and seeing how it worked, one of the ghosts just started randomly throwing digs at me. And I don't know if I just pissed one of them off and they have like a hive mind or something, but they all attack me now, so at least it works. But right now, our ghost spawns in the desert, and if I'm being honest, that's pretty boring. So let's make a place for it to spawn. I'll save you the technical details on making the biome since it was just me going back and forward with Jason Lind, but the wiki had a preset for a biome that I didn't really like the look of, so I decided, hey, I'm going to be a little bit independent here since I've been doing this for the last couple of days. I can do this, and decided to change the blocks that my biome will generate with. And I don't know what happened, but I wanted it to be a pretty dangerous place covered in lava pools, a stone top, and grey concrete underneath, which I thought would fit the aesthetic of a ghost. And then something happened, and now it doesn't generate anything but the stone, so now I just have a stone biome. And if I'm going to be honest, I kinda like it. I originally thought that my biome was broken since I was replacing it with plains 50% of the time, which is what add-ons do to make new biomes instead of replacing old ones. But I didn't know that, so when I was looking around for my biome, I just couldn't find it. And when I used the /locate command, I got really unlucky and got really small plains biomes that got replaced, so I thought it was just natural cave generation. I found out about these problems though and set the replace rate to 100% for testing purposes and changed the biome that it replaces to the desert, which can actually be pretty small too, where I thought it was still broken, but I did eventually get a big spooky biome, and that's when I realised that it was literally just stone. It's cool though because the ores and different stones still spawn at the top and the caves and ravines still spawn, so it's like it's a new cave biome. We're missing something though, and we need to go back to what I originally wanted to do. Even with the knowledge and the new tools that I have, making a structure was the hardest thing to make. Mostly because I spent the first 2 hours making it on the wrong page of the wiki. In hindsight, I should have made a graveyard, but I didn't think of that at the time, so I made this shrine that has infested stone around it and spawned silverfish. The structure was done, but when I tried to naturally generate it, it kept giving me errors and errors. But eventually, I got whatever the hell this was to load in my game, which isn't the most ideal step, but it's a step nonetheless. I played it for a bit because I admit it was pretty fun to try to survive this, and got to fixing everything up. I got the structure to spawn naturally and changed it a bit since the silverfish didn't spawn, so I made 2 spawners spawn breezes and ghosts above chests. I sped up the ghost a bit, increased the speed, the damage, and made the structure spawn nests. Added a recipe to turn ectoplasm into wind charges, and with that we have completed our add-on. So I hopped into a new world and went to my biome to try it out, where I got beat up by ghosts and breezes, accidentally paused my recording, and died in lava. Pretty successful. I actually like doing that much more than I thought it was, but lads, it's still a crappy add-on with models from the wiki and a lot of copy and pasted code, and I still needed a lot of help from ChatGPT and Jason Lind. If I wanted to even try put this on the marketplace, I would have to 1. Be over the age limit, 2. Redesign my ectoplasm and ghosts into something more original, add more things and improve the quality of them, and 3. Go through the very long process of checks and other processes by Microsoft or other publishers to get it off there. So lads, the reason good bedrock mods are hard to come by is because they're very complicated to make. Hope you enjoyed, boys, and remember, put the blame on Microsoft for being greedy and making add-ons cost money, and not the developers actually making them.